And, of course, we have our own meteorologist, Mike Seidel. He is live in Topeka, Kansas right now. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Chris and Jackie, we're right out here behind the National Weather Service in Topeka, and they're very busy inside issuing a lot of warnings, tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings. We're getting those to you on the air. Winds are east-southeast, so we do have that turning with height in the atmosphere. However, as these storms come east this evening, the tornado threat will lessen. We've got a Torcon of 7 here, but an hour to our east, the Torcon is only 3. I say only 3 in Kansas City. So as we go through the next few hours, it's going to become more of a straight line wind damage threat. And if you look on the radar, the storms are moving north-northeast, not towards Topeka. The closest warned storm is about 60 miles away. I think the worst here is going to be when that line gets in here about 9:30 or 10 Central, and then it'll be 10 to 11 o'clock in Kansas City. And just in case, we are in good shape. The National Weather Service has a great storm shelter, survivastorm.com. And you just kind of open this door, Chris, and you can come in here. They keep their grill in here, but this is where we go if necessary if we have a tornado warned storm in the area. So we'll keep you updated. Again, the action here in about 2 hours, and we'll bring it to you live, and stay safe doing that. Chris?
All right, meteorologist Mike Seidel.
Good evening. Welcome back to the National Weather Service. We're inside the forecast center. We got a few minutes in here. It has backed off a little bit on the tornado warnings. Just want to show you around. This is the side of the room where they're issuing the warnings. This is Jenny Pittman. She's actually the Science and Information Operations Officer helping out Daniel Reese. He's keeping an eye on the radar right now and all those severe thunderstorm warnings to our north and west. A couple of more forecasters in the corner. Over here, we do deal with social media. That is the meteorologist in charge right there. Coming up, Craven, who is monitoring the situation. How's it going so far?
You know, so far it's a rapidly evolving situation. We're in a position now where we've got severe thunderstorm warnings out, and we even have some high wind warnings behind the storms.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting some 60 and 70 mile an hour wind gusts outside the storms themselves.
Okay, I'll let you get back to work.
Yeah.
And these folks are here again, communications, dealing with storm reports, and also social media. So a very busy night inside the forecast center here in Topeka, Kansas. Chris? We'll go back to you in Atlanta as everybody is monitoring everything. But again, as we go through the evening, as the storms move east towards KC, the threat will increase from a straight line wind damage point and decrease from a tornado standpoint.
All right, meteorologist Mike Seidel, thanks so much. Gosh, that's really nice of them to let Mike come in and do a report. You can tell Mike was speaking kind of quiet, trying to be respectful because they're doing some very serious work. You can see how focused they are. They take their jobs very, very seriously, especially at times like this.
Yeah, lives are at stake.
Again, he's reporting on the weather in Topeka. And, Mike, it's not all that far away now.
No, it isn't. Those storms that are severe warned are about a half an hour to our west, but they are moving north and northeast. So they're likely just going to stay just to our west of Topeka. I want to show you the wind, though. This is a south-southeast wind. So we have the wind changing heights, direction with height. So we do have the spin, especially low-level spin. That's why we've had these tornado warnings for the past couple of hours. There's the radome, and these winds are south-southeast. So the storms are going to be coming at me from behind the camera, from the west and southwest. But we've been following the storms down 44 towards Wichita. There is one warned storm down there. The other storms that were warned, those warnings expired. So showers and thunderstorms coming up I-44 towards Topeka. Then we have the main line coming in, the cold front catching up with the dry line. In fact, about an hour ago, Salina, Kansas was 92 with humidity of 11%. They've now dropped to the low 80s, but it gives you an idea of the dry line, humidity 11%. Humidity right here is about 65%. So cold front catches up with dry line, blows on through a little after midnight. So our big concern here, the number one threat will be straight line wind damage, but we still cannot rule out a tornado or two, certainly, and a spin up as the line comes in here in the next hour to 2 hours. Kansas City will be after that, probably in the 10 to 11 o'clock hour Central Time. And Carl, the tornado threat lessens as you cross the Missouri River. Torcon right now here is 7, and Kansas City it's 3. So once this line gets into the Kansas City metro area and then pushes east across Missouri, it's going to be more of a straight line wind damage threat after 11 o'clock tonight into the early hours of Saturday morning. We'll be right here in Topeka waiting to see what we get here. But remember to have your safe place and know where to go in case you're under a tornado warning. Carl, back to you in Atlanta.
All right, Mike, thank you so much.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of severe weather, and this picture sent to us from near Wichita. This is Rose Hill, Kansas. This is southeast of Wichita and Butler County, and it looks like a tornado there. As far as I can see, looking in the distance, it's touched down. You can see picking up dust, and this is what we've seen a lot of. A lot of these tornadoes are in rural areas. There has also been power flashes there, and it's nice to see that so far that the touchdowns have been either brief or hitting in areas where there's not a lot of population. This is from Connor Bruce Weather on Twitter. Back here live in Topeka, we're right outside the National Weather Service office, and we've seen some lightning to the north. Jeff Marr just asked me that, but look at the radar right now. I mean, we are due. We expected things to really go downhill after about 9 o'clock. It's 8:40 here in Topeka. We're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. The entire area, basically anywhere between Wichita and Topeka and up I-44, it's all warned, primarily for severe thunderstorms, hail, and straight-line wind damage. We've had wind gusts over 60, even 70 miles an hour in Kansas, and up in the Fillmore area, Fillmore County of the state of Nebraska, south central, they've had several wind gusts pushing 80 miles an hour. But back here where we are, Carl, the storms are on the way. Plenty of lightning, heavy rain, hail, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles an hour, and we also have several tornado warnings. In fact, we've got a new one that is aimed almost towards Topeka. We'll go back to you and get us an update on that tornado warning, which expires at the top of the hour.
Yeah, Mike, I was just going to say, I hope you pay very close attention to that one. That has been the strongest velocity signature that we have seen here within the last hour. It's weakened just a little bit in the last couple of frames, but that has been a very dangerous storm. We also want to go out to Mike Seidel. He's been reporting on the weather in Topeka. And Mike, a tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warning coming into the southwest side of that area. And it looks like it's going to get pretty interesting before too long here.
It is. We've got a lot of lightning. We heard some thunder overhead. Right now, that tornado warning earlier has expired. They have not extended it. We're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, at least until the bottom of the hour. I'm sure that'll be extended. But look at the radar, how it bows out. That's a sure sign that we're going to have straight line wind damage of some kind, maybe some trees down on power lines, very heavy rain, and the lightning. Then it cools off. In fact, Manhattan, Kansas has dropped from 82 down to 62 behind the front. Salina has gone from 92 to 62, and they're gusting to 74 miles an hour behind the front. They've issued some high wind warnings. I want to show you where we're going to be. We've got our shelter here. We're at the National Weather Service here in Topeka. They've been very generous and helpful through the afternoon and evening. They're busy inside dealing with the warnings right now. But this is our tornado shelter, and it's their tornado shelter. So if they have to get into a safe place and shut down and transfer their responsibility to a closer weather service office like Wichita, they will come out here too. But now we're behind and outside of the shelter. We'll be closing the door I just went through because of the wind switching directions. More on this threat continuing overnight coming up next.
And then back down farther to the south, now an ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for Topeka. Our Mike Seidel is located in Topeka right now. And Mike, looks like a couple of rounds of weather coming through right now.
Yeah, and just a few minutes ago, we had a wind gust to 76 miles an hour here, just about 3 or 4 minutes ago. Wind is not as strong by any means right now. We are getting some rain, light to moderate rainfall. There's still lightning and thunder around, but the worst of the wind has now just moved off to our east. Winds were sustained at 54, gusts to 76 miles an hour. It was a wild scene here. So we've got that severe thunderstorm warning till the top of the hour. And again, the cool air, we felt that about 15, 20 minutes ago. So temperatures have fallen from the mid-70s now down to the low 60s, and we've got this coming on through another hour or so. Certainly we'll be out of the threat for severe weather easily in about 45 minutes here in Topeka as this warning ends at the top of the hour. So, Carl, so far, so good. Will likely be some wind damage from those wind gusts that high, but at this point, the power's still on here at the National Weather Service here on the northeast side of Topeka. Carl?
Mike, I just wanted to ask you, was that a personal observation, or was that what was reported at the airport?
That was what was recorded at the Forbes Airport, yes. 54 gusts to 76. Pretty intense.
Very healthy storm, no question about that, Mike. Glad to see that things are improving some there. Let's go back. All right, we want to get out to Mike Seidel. He's been reporting on the weather in Topeka. And, Mike, you got a fierce gust there in Topeka. I know you said the airport reporting 76. Do you think it was that high where you were?
Here at this airport, at TOP, the gust was in the mid-50s, so not quite as strong. The other airport, Forbes, is a few miles away, and that's where they were at 54, gusting to 76. So not quite as strong right here, but we heard the wind right around 10:30. It was just came right over our tornado shelter. We had the back door open because we knew we weren't in the threat for any kind of rotation or spin-up, and we watched the wind blow the rain towards me. Right now it's raining. The wind is almost dead calm, so it's really calmed down. The temperature has dropped from the mid-70s to the low 60s, and if you look on the radar, we're just about done with the rain. In fact, the severe threat has ended here in Metro Topeka and here in Shawnee County. All the warnings now off to our east or south, especially those storms that came out of Wichita producing that damage at the YMCA in the Atchison area. Meanwhile, off to our west, counties just to our west, out of the tornado watch. We expect the Weather Service will drop the watch here very shortly, and then the rain will end. And tomorrow it's going to be a sunny, breezy, picture-perfect spring day, a little cooler than average, but the stability will return, and we won't have to worry about severe weather. As far as rainfall, as of the top of the hour, the airport's reporting 700s and 1100s, so not even that much rain. The line kind of fell apart as it came through here. We got the wind gusts, but we didn't get much rainfall, so absolutely no threat of any kind of flooding. I mean, hardly any rainfall, and they could use it. There goes another flash of lightning and some thunder. So we still have some lightning around the area, the light rain. And, Carl, this is going to end pretty shortly as everything moves east into the Kansas City area, into Missouri and parts of Iowa. Again, Kansas City under severe thunderstorm watch, and east of there into eastern and western parts of Missouri, and that goes until 4 a.m. Central Time. Carl, we'll keep you updated from here, but we got through this okay. By the way, statewide, about 22,000 customers without power out of 1.2 million in the data set, so a small percentage, and most of those are in central Kansas, where they had wind gusts 60 to 70 miles an hour. Here in Shawnee County, where we have the gust 76, last check, just about 40 customers without power. We'll see if that jumps up a little bit here the next 15 to 20 minutes. But in this area where we had the gust over 50 miles an hour, no sense of any, there's no power out, no damage. Again, it was very, very quick, and then that was it. The rain came in. It was boom. It was kind of like a tornado. It hit, and it was gone in seconds. Carl?
Mike, I'm sure you've seen some of the video and the pictures online of that tornado that came through Andover. And, of course, Andover has a heck of a tornado history. They had a major tornado come through in 1991.
Yeah, they were just talking about that inside at the National Weather Service, and I stand corrected. I said Atchison. I meant Andover just a few minutes ago. Yes. Again, 91, I remember that. Just before I got to the Weather Channel, I think that was a 5, wasn't it? Wasn't that an F5? I believe it was an F5. If not,
yes,
it certainly was an F4, if my memory serves me correctly. Was it an F5, Carl?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly powerful storm.
That was a monster tornado, reminding me of Joplin and the Tuscaloosa, which was just 11 years ago. Some of the monster tornadoes that we've seen in this part of the world, which has been dubbed Tornado Alley for years, although in recent years we've tended to see the maxima centered in the southern states, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. In fact, I believe it's Alabama and Oklahoma are tied for the most EF5 or F5 tornadoes on record since 1950. So although this has been the long-standing tornado alley, the past 5 to 10 years, in even 15 years, we've had a lot of big, nasty tornadoes in the Deep South, up and down, and not far from the I-20 and I-10 corridors.
Yeah, and also a lot of concern about the societal vulnerability in the South because, of course, you've got a lot more tree cover and you tend to have lower cloud bases and more manufactured housing as well. For a lot of reasons, that's a big concern to see that shift. Mike, thank you so much.